Channel 26. This is Valley Homes on TV, the Milpitas edition. I'm Debbie Indahart Giordano along with Todd Flesner.
How you doing, Deb?
Really good. It's a little warm out there today.
Well, yeah, we've had a great summer here. We love living here in Milpitas, don't we?
We do. And for you folks that have tuned in to watch us, be sure to catch us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m. And you can also see us on Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. So we're pretty regulars there.
Yeah, great. So we're going to talk some real estate today.
Love it.
And particularly investment.
Okay.
Real estate is an investment. So I brought along a couple of experts in real estate investment today to talk about just that. How do you use real estate as an investment tool? So joining us today are Raul, Richardson, and Pham. They're with real estate investment experts. And so that's what they do. They help people look at how do they use real estate as a tool for investment, particularly multifamily housing, and that is a way to...
and we know that's a hot topic right now.
Yes, it is.
Folks
Yes,
are just trying to jump in. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. So
Thank you for having us.
Good. Well, we'll start off. Let's just get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit
Sure.
about yourself, your background. What kind of got you into
Very good.
the real estate investment business?
yes.
Okay, thank you, Todd and Debbie, for giving us the opportunity in speaking tonight. My name is Raul Richardson. I am a licensed real estate broker specializing in apartment buildings. I am the CEO of Real Estate Investment Experts. This is my co-owner of the company, Pham. I've been licensed since 2003 and been practicing real estate residential since 2003. And I changed focus after the change in the real estate industry in 2010. Since then, that's how I pretty much got into the apartment business, with managing apartments.
Okay.
Managing in the apartments kind of got me into the specialty where I really love. This is an area where this is where I profess. This is how live, eat, and breathe apartment buildings. With me is Pham.
Yes, and thank you for having us today. My name is Pham, and I'm a licensed real estate agent working with Raul here, establishing our business office in San Jose, and specialize in apartment buildings and multi-units. I'm an investor myself for more than 10 years. I own properties across the country and managing them myself as well. I moved here from the East Coast, and I went to school as an engineer, and so is Raul. In the East Coast, attending Columbia University and Cornell University. And I love real estate since then. I'm investing, and now as a real estate agent, I can bring the skills as an investor to the table and serving our community here in Milpitas and San Jose.
Well, you folks chose to stay here in the Bay Area. What do you like about living in the Bay Area?
It's not like, it's what I love about the Bay Area, and I really mean that. First and foremost, the employment opportunities that this country provides, especially here in the Bay Area. The weather, the educational system. It's a wonderful place to live. I was raised here since my early elementary school years in the peninsula, and I received my formal graduation at San Jose State. From that point, we both worked in the engineering field. I myself worked in the semiconductor capital equipment and also the aerospace industry.
Nice. Good background.
Yeah.
You can.
And for me, this Bay Area is the land of opportunities. Is being an engineer, I love the technologies that growing, the jobs growth in this industry, in this area is tremendous. It's providing a lot of opportunities for people to invest in real estate.
Okay.
Good. Well, you both mentioned you have a background in real estate and in residential real estate, but you've moved your focus to investment properties and multi-unit properties. Can you tell folks a little bit about maybe what's different about that arena, or what's unique, or what attracted you to specialize in that area?
Sure. The biggest difference, in my opinion, and I'm sure everybody agrees, it's cash flow. We have 6 doors. Well, we could have anywhere from 2 to however many doors under one roof, and that allows for greater cash flow, especially in the event if there is a vacancy. You still have property income coming in.
Are there things, Kim, that you like about the commercial or the multifamily arena compared? You're an investor, and what is it that you really like about that arena?
Well, as a multifamily, like Raul said, the cash flow and profitability would attract investors And when we look at the deals or transactions, we look at from an investor's perspective. What is it in it for me? How is it going to invest? How this investment for short term and long term is going to bring me profitability, and cash flow is key.
So the numbers really are much more important perhaps than someone who's looking at a property that's going to be their home, right?
Right.
It's a different motivation.
Correct.
So let's, then my question, and I deal in residential real estate.
Yes.
So tell me about the current market conditions.
Okay, as at this point and in the last 3 to 4 years, the market condition definitely favors the sellers, the landlords. At this point, for example, there are 4,000 fourplexes in Santa Clara County. And of those 4,000, as of today, there is a total count of 53 properties that are available, actively on the market.
So that would be a low inventory.
Very extremely low. Of the 5 or more units, commercial units, there's currently active 17. And of those 17, I think 3 of those are over 4 months old. So they're properties that are not going to sell, overpriced.
Okay. Well, we talked about cash flow and the tight inventory, and I think folks who rent in this area know that the rents are on the rise. But as an investor, as you look at a property, how do you consider what the value is, and how do you evaluate rents as a piece of that?
That's a great question.
How do you evaluate an investment property?
Yeah,
It's pretty much basically boils down to the ability of that particular building to produce income, hence income-producing property. The ability of the property in producing income is directly correlated to the value of the property. As an investor, if you're buying property, I would take a very close look at the current markets, the current rents, the future rents, also known as pro forma rents, in areas of economic growth within the submarket, and of course, the condition of the building.
So are there metrics that you use, like gross rent multiplier is one that you'll hear,
Sure.
or
Cap rate.
rates and those sort of things? Are there particular metrics that you look at as you help your investors, your buyers look at potential properties? Are there
Yes.
things you key on?
Those two metrics they're used very often in our industry. Cap rates as well as gross rent multipliers, which essentially gross rent multipliers is defined as the gross annual income, the number of years it would take to pay off that property. So as a buyer, the lower the number, the better it is for the buyer.
Okay. So Kim, let me ask you then, in terms of the current rental market value, Raul mentioned that as a factor. We've seen incredible rises in the rents.
Right.
Probably 10, 15% a year, maybe something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
So how do you see the rental market, and where do you see it going?
It continued to rise. I mean, the job market here, with the new job opening and that pulling more and more people coming into this area, that's rising the demand for rental. And so we see that it's continued to rise. However, there are some debate and there's some conversations about how do we stop this from continuing to rise. And so that's where we are. The demand for rental is still going very strong. And that's why the value of the properties continues to go up and supporting that.
Correct.
Okay. Well, good. Let's switch gears a little bit and think about taxation. Are there some special tax rules or advantages, perhaps, to owning rental property that people might want to consider?
The most significant tax advantage is the ability to file as a Schedule C, which is essentially you treat the building, your investment, as a business, which affords certain deductions that are not normally used in the everyday filer.
So like depreciation, for example, right?
Right.
Depreciation.
And another tax code that's very favor to investors is the 1031 exchange, where you can defer the capital gain to buy a like-kind property. That's really allowing the investors to buy a likewise property and defer that tax.
And define like property would be one investment property versus another type of investment property?
Right. And we have a team of experts in that area that really consulting with our clients, investors, to really follow the guideline of the tax rule.
Okay.
And allow them to follow the rules and preserve as much capital for them for future investments.
Okay, good. You talked a little bit earlier about managing properties, right?
Oh, the headaches.
The opportunities.
Opportunities.
There you go.
What are things that folks might want to consider if they're looking at multifamily properties and the management aspect of that?
That's a great question. And one of the most important things that I want the viewers to understand is that in managing properties, one should manage a property as an investor, not as a property manager or someone that is collecting rents. Treat it as an investment. You be the investor, let the property manager handle the day-to-day problems, and you focus on your main part of life, which is personal and professional.
Okay. So much like someone might have a stock advisor that manages their stock portfolio, similarly with real estate,
Right.
you can have a property manager who really takes care of those issues for you.
You have to be extremely careful. You don't want to get get into the personal side of managing a property, because it could definitely ruin your day if you have a bad tenant or a bad situation.
And I guess a property manager has more an objective look. They're looking at the dollars and cents, whereas the owner has more of an emotional
Right.
investment into that, and that
Yeah.
probably doesn't work
And
too
they
well.
know the current laws,
Yeah.
because they're changing every year.
Right,
So you have
right.
to be careful. It could be a legal minefield, which, by the way, I have always said managing property is one of the most restrictive paths one could take in opening a business.
Okay, so we talked about rental values, we talked about other aspects of determining value. Let's talk about overall general maintenance. So when an investor buys a building, or the many doors, you call it doors under one roof, but how do you evaluate, say, the maintenance aspect of an aging building, and what do you use to make sure that the cash flow makes sense?
Sure. I have typically in this area, most apartment buildings were built anywhere from the mid-50s to the early 70s. So that throws them out to the 40 to 50 plus years in age. And to be conservative, one should collect 10% of the collected rents and hold it for maintenance. There was a recent study at the National Association of Apartment Owners, I'm sorry. They stated that 6.3% of the 6.3% of that 10% should be saved for capital expenditures, and the remaining 4% in maintenance.
Okay, good. What are some other challenges that people might face in terms of looking at owning multi-unit housing?
The current most important challenge as an investor is the current situation with rent control. There's more and more talk of rent control.
San Jose has rent control?
Yes, currently it's capped at 8%.
Okay.
There's talk about 4%. In Richmond, for example, last week, they just announced that their rent control caps will be tied to the Consumer Price Index. San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland, which is about 2%. That's equal to East Palo Alto. East Palo Alto also has rent control.
Boy, that is going to really change the landscape.
That, and they're also there's talk of implementing a just cost rule for eviction. In other words, the landlord cannot just kick somebody out to raise the rents. You have to have a just cost. So that's another thing that
Even
we're
if they're on a
facing.
month-to-month tenancy
Correct.
and they just want to give them a, say, 60-day notice to vacate?
I don't know the exact rules, Debbie, but I do know that there is talk of changes.
Changes,
And
okay,
I was at the city council meeting in San Jose 2 months ago, and it was quite heated.
okay,
It
okay.
was definitely a lot of
Yeah,
drama.
wow. So, what are then some of the in terms of benefits, I would assume one of the challenges, I'll go back, that is, I sell residential real estate, so it's more liquid. It seems like it's something you can buy and sell more readily, where a larger apartment building, maybe there's a lifespan, you want to hold it so many years, 5, 10, 20 years. I don't think it's going to be readily flippable, turnable Am I not correct? There's more of a long-term holding?
It's
pattern
really,
there?
it's really dependent on the interest rates and the bank's ability to,
Okay.
how liberal the bank is on lending. However, that's been skewed lately with the influx of foreign investors. Foreign investments has really shot up these properties.
Okay.
So.
So you're seeing
yeah.
more of a change in that perspective,
Right.
the holding.
Correct.
Well, that's good for you.
It's good.
More deals. You sound like you know what you're doing, so.
Thank
When you
you.
talk about foreign investors and the impact, I mean, how do you look at appreciation in the future when you're looking at considering an investment in a commercial building like this?
I don't quite follow your question.
Yeah, we look at, residential real estate,
Mhm.
we look at appreciation. On this show, we look at the values here in residential real estate on an ongoing basis, and we're seeing, it's not uncommon, $100,000, year over year increase in values. Are you seeing those sort of increases in commercial properties as well?
Yes, we are definitely seeing that in the fourplex region. For example, I had the opportunity of doing 2 sales on the same building, and within 12 to 14 month different time span.
Okay.
Initially, I sold it for $1 million, and then maybe call it 14 months later, I sold it for $1,250,000.
Okay,
And the
okay.
difference in income was negligible, from $66,000 to nearly $77,000. So $10,000 difference. And sure enough, it was an all-cash investor that came in.
Okay, so we're seeing that then as well.
We're seeing that. We closed escrow in January on this particular example. But I do notice that the offers are not as liberal as they used to be. I see now more contingencies and greater periods where the properties are staying on the market.
Okay, okay.
It might be indicative of what's going on in the world, but for now, it's still a very strong market.
Okay, let me ask, Kim, direct this at you. You're a licensed realtor, and Raul's the broker.
Yes.
So in dealing with your investment properties, do you have any special licenses that you need, or any other special,
Well,
certificates?
Well, Raul's a broker and I'm an agent, and we don't really need a specialized license or certification to specialize in apartments or multifamily
Okay,
unit.
okay.
There are some other certification that may help, but it's not really required by the
Okay.
Bureau of Real Estate.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yes, it's a certified commercial investment.
Okay,
Yeah.
got
So
it.
there
Member.
are certifications you can go after, additional education and training you can get in that area along
Sure.
with your experience. However, as a requirement for entry, it's not.
As a landlord or owner of a property, I do highly strongly encourage the viewers to look into the Apartment Owners Association
Oh, okay,
in the Alameda in downtown
There's a
San
lot of
Jose.
information.
a lot of good information.
Yes.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Mhm.
Well, good. Well, maybe as we close here, share with us a little bit about the future. You're just you've done some reformation. You have a new office downtown
Correct.
San Jose. What's the future hold for you guys?
There's a lot of promise. There's a lot of promise. We moved my office is from Campbell to downtown San Jose. Dead center and the focal point of South First Street and Santa Clara, over at the old Bank of Italy. I moved there for the particular reason of the fact that there's many projects of approximately about 14 that will be completed by 2017. It's going to be the hub of activity, and I do see a lot of promise in terms of future growth and income and value, increase in value. We have BART going through there, starting from Milpitas, Berryessa, Alum Rock, and Giordano. And of course, that's the place where to invest the money. Take a look around downtown San Jose. You'll count 5 cranes, construction cranes, and there's a flurry of activity. So I want to be in the center of there and put my finger on the pulse.
And how about you, Kim? You're also an investor yourself.
Yes, I am.
So what are
And,
your goals and perspectives?
In supporting the growth in the business of multifamily, we have a lot of tools that we will be make it available for investors to go and do some calculations about the deals, the transactions, look at the the futures of their investments and so forth. With the background in engineering, I just love the numbers.
You're going to be doing more investing yourself?
More investing in myself and helping our clients and looking investments. Like when I look at the properties, so investing, like I ask myself, like, would I do that investment?
Right.
Would I do that for my clients?
Good. Sounds good.
Well,
Should we put, if you folks want to give your email address, website, phone numbers, any contact information, if viewers are interested in talking about investment real estate?
Yes, the email, shall let you, Kim.
Right. So for Raul is Raul at theappexperts.com. For me is Kim, theappexpert.com. And there's a company we're operating is realestateInvestmentExperts.com, reinvestmentexperts.com.
Okay.
terrific.
Let me just elaborate on the email addresses. I get this often. It's Raul and Kim at, and it's the apartment, abbreviated, APT, experts with an S.com. And the number is very simple, 408-800-4100.
Great.
Terrific. Great.
Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate you coming in today, sharing your expertise with us and with
Thank
our
you, Todd.
viewers, and
Thank you, Todd.
and
And
your
Debbie.
It's
enthusiasm
a
for
fascinating topic, one that
Yes.
folks have to know what they're doing, and they need to have
Extremely
somebody
careful.
that's a professional in that industry.
investment. Great.
Right.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the
Mr.
opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Valley Homes on TV with Debbie Giordano and myself, Todd Flesner. We're glad you've joined us. We're here for our monthly wrap-up.
It's the month of July.
Exactly, and
Weather's been nice and hot, and I got to tell you, the market has been hot. I want to share with you some headlines. This is out of the Real Estate magazine, reflecting on this crazy housing market. And they talk about the latest numbers are in, and it probably won't come as a shock to learn the housing market is as hot as ever. And San Jose Mercury, just last week, housing costs continue to surge. Even well-paid tech and science workers feel impact, data shows. Less than 25% of workers and just 40% of households in San Jose are able to rent or buy an average price home. The affordability has just plummeted.
yeah, things have really changed over the last year or two here in terms of the real estate market, and for folks looking to either get into the market or relocating here, they're finding that this is not an inexpensive place to live.
No, not at all. And I don't see any end in sight. First, talk about another article. It says, no housing bubble in sight. And, this is put out by Lawrence Young. He's the NAR chief economist. And he says, statistically speaking, housing is on a roll. Year-to-date sales are up 6.3%, but affordability and wages have only gone up 2%. So as the affordability drops and wages don't catch up, we're going to see some problems. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong in what you're seeing too, but our area is still a little insulated, a little more unique than what's going on in the country. You
Absolutely.
have a lot of the high-tech workers that get stock options, and they're able to jump in, and I think they're pressing the prices forward a little bit more.
Well, absolutely. We are a unique area with a unique sort of set of circumstances. Our economic engine here with employment is strong. Our businesses are strong, and more folks are coming into this area to work, which really increases that demand. Folks who work for companies who provide stock options, they're able to exercise those and being able to use that as a vehicle or leverage to be able to get into property.
What are you seeing with the first-time home buyer? What are their down payments, Todd?
Well, it's across the board. What I'm finding actually is having a good, skilled real estate agent as a part of your team and a good, strong financing package as a part of that is really, really important. I've done a VA loan here in the last 6 months with zero down payment, $600,000 first-time home buyer. I've done several FHA loans. Again, about $650,000. You can get into a $650,000 home with 3.5% down payment. Now, again, you have to keep in mind, you're competing against some of these other offers. And so you have to have a skilled real estate agent with a good reputation to represent that offer to the sellers so that they know that they can count on the fact that that loan is going to close. And that's where that reputation becomes critical to who it is you're working with in the industry.
Right, I agree. So, talking about loans, so what's the general loan industry look like in interest rates? I know we've had a crazy stock market.
Yes, we have.
It's been a roller coaster.
It has been a little bit of a roller coaster. And we've talked on the show a number of times about, it really is a global economy, and there's a give and take, tug of war for where investment dollars go. And we've actually just had the Fed meet today as we're taping, and they've indicated no change in the current interest rate policy.
That doesn't surprise me. Does it surprise you? Or?
No, not at all. Things have impacted that here recently have been China. We've seen the stock market in China. Greece as well. Some of those uncertainties have created a flight to quality, bond market, safety, and again, that helps to keep interest rates low. So headed into the first part of the summer, we saw interest rates tick up about 0.25% or so. They've kind of backed down off of that now here.
Right.
So historically, we're still great. We're right around 4% for a 30-year fixed rate loan.
Amazing.
And so, again, there are all sorts of low down payment options that are available for folks who may not have the access to the stock options. So we can help folks there. Jumbo financing for the people who need that, who are looking to get into it.
Is that rate much higher for jumbo?
Actually, you know what? Jumbo loan financing right now is actually a little bit lower than the conforming or conventional rates. Now, there's some additional requirements that you need to meet to be able to get that financing. It's 20% down. You have to have outstanding credit, and you have to have reserves. That means you have to have extra money in the bank after you close as a backup. But if you can do that, jumbo financing right now is very, very attractive.
Good. Want to hear some numbers?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Let's look at Milpitas. Back in June of 2014, a year ago, we had $727,000 as the average sales price for a single-family home. Medium sales price was $718,000, and that's jumped. Let me give you the number today. You are not going to believe this. Average price $963,000.
Oh my goodness.
Median price $875,000. I mean, just off the chart. And then condos or townhomes, which are attached units. The average price was $575,000, median price $572,000 a year ago, and that's jumped now to $609,000 average price and $640 median. So not quite the jump that we saw in single family.
But there's your supply and demand right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are you seeing right now in terms of supply of homes on the market to sell?
Well, was it yesterday or day before when I did an MLS search in Milpitas? There are 32 homes, 32 single-family homes on the market. That's typically low.
Okay.
So it's been, though, fairly consistent, I would say, year over year. So we've had low inventory floating around those numbers.
Okay.
But I would say a good moderate inventory would be around 60 to 70 homes. So we're about half of what we typically would have this time of year.
Okay. And I'm still hearing from folks that multiple offers are the norm.
Yep, I would say so. I've got some open houses this weekend, so we shall see.
We will find out.
We will find out, and we'll report that in when we get the information. Well,
terrific. Well, thanks for the update on what's happening here locally with our market.
And Milpitas is still a very exciting place to be in, I tell you.
Absolutely. Great place to live and to work. So.
Thanks, Todd. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Terrific. Thanks a lot.